Waheguru, 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 Waheguru Ji. Satanam, Satanam, Satanam Ji. Sometimes you have to fall from the mountain to realize what you're climbing for. Obstacles were put in our way. See if what we want is worth fighting for. From every wound there is a scar, and every scar tells a story that says us survive. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. To living is determined Your living is determined not so much by what life brings to you as by the attitudes you bring to life, not so much by what happens to you as by the way your minds look at what happens. Believe you can, and you are halfway there. The greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitudes of mind. You think you can, and if you think you can't, you're right. The fact Any fact facing us is not as important as our attitude towards it, for that determines our success and failure. The way you think about a fact may defeat you before you ever do anything about it. You are overcome by the fact because you think you are. Nothing can stop the man with the right mental attitude for achieving his goal. Nothing on earth can help the man with the wrong mental attitude. When written in Chinese, the word crisis is composed of two characters. One represents danger, the other represents opportunity. One ship drives east and another drives west with the self-same winds that blow. It is the set of the sails and not the yell which tells the way to go. The longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude to me is more important than facts. It is more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances, than failure, than success, than company, a church, a home, the remarkable than what other people think or say or do. It is more important to appreciate the gift or skill. It may make or break a company, a church, a home. The remarkable thing is we have a choice. Everything regarding the attitude we will impress for that day. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the fact that people will act in a certain way. We cannot change that multiple. The only thing we can do is play on the strength we have, and that is our attitude. Convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. And so it is with you, and uh, you are in charge of our attitudes. All that we are is a result of what we have thought. The spirit, the will to win, the will to excel are the things that endure. These qualities are much more important than the event that occur. Positive attitudes create a chain reaction of positive thoughts. We have lived in the concentration camps and remember the men who walked through the huts comforting others, gave away their last piece of the bread. They may have been few in number, but they offer sufficient proof that everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of his freedom, to choose one's attitude in given circumstances, to choose one's own way. Things turn out the best for the people who make the best of the way their things turn out. Ability is what gives the opportunity. Belief is what gets you there. Nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm. A pessimist is one who makes difficulties of his opportunities, and an optimist is one who makes opportunities of his difficulties. Develop an attitude of gratitude and give thanks for everything that happens to you, knowing that every step forward is a step toward achieving something bigger and better than your current situation. We tend to live up to our expectation, choosing to be positive, having a grateful attitude is going to determine. Don't waste your time with explanations. People only hear what they want to hear. I don't have an attitude problem. You have a problem with my attitude. Your attitude is not my aptitude. Will determine your altitude. People laugh at me because I'm different, and I laugh because they are the same. My personality is me, but my attitude is you. Weakness of attitude becomes weakness of character. If you don't get everything you want, think of the things you don't get that you don't want. It is our attitude at the beginning of the difficult task more than anything else can affect a successful outcome. I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust myself to always reach my destination. It is our attitude at the beginning of the difficult undertaking, which more than anything else will determine its successful outcome. Abundance is in larger part an attitude. Leadership is practiced not so much in words as in attitude and actions. Pathetic attitudes are not keeping with greatness. Happiness doesn't depend on the external condition, it is governed by our mental attitude. When you pray for anyone, you tend to modify our personal attitude towards him. The greatest discovery of all times is that a person can change the future by merely changing his attitude. The only disability in life is a bad attitude. Having a positive mental attitude is asking how something can be done rather than saying it can't be done. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust myself to always reach my destination. Smile when it hurts most. Our attitude toward life determines our attitude towards us. Life's attitude towards us. Attitudes are contagious and are yours worth catching. If you don't get everything you want, think of the things you don't get that you don't want. Life is a shipwreck, but we must not forget to sing in the lifeboats. To be a great champion, you must believe you are the best. If you are not, pretend you are. Everyone has this burden. What counts is how you carry it. Attitude is a magnet. What you think is what you attract. Attitude makes a difference. Life has many ways of testing a person's will, either by having nothing be happen at all or by having everything happen all at once. There are two ways of spreading light: to be a candle or the mirror that reflects it. With everything that has happened to you, you can either feel sorry for yourself or treat what has happened as a grace. Everything is either an opportunity to grow or an obstacle to keep you from growing. You get to choose. Believe in yourself, have faith in your abilities without the humble but reasonable confidence in your own powers. Cannot be successful or happy. Hate it has caused a lot of problems in this world but has not solved one yet. If opportunity doesn't knock, build the door. An attitude of positive expectation is a mark of the superior personality. Success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. If you can dream it, then you can achieve it. You will get all you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. The only place where your dream becomes impossible is in your own thinking. You don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. I may not have gone where I intended to, but I think I have ended up where I needed to be. Learning is a gift, even when pain is your teacher. I have had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happened. You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. Hope is a waking dream. The past has no power over the present moment. Happiness is an attitude. We either make ourselves miserable or happy and strong. The amount of work is the same. I do believe we are all connected. I do believe in positive energy. I do believe in the power of prayer. I do believe in putting good out into the world, and I believe in taking care of each other. If you want light to come into your life, you need to stand where it is shining. Today is a new beginning, a chance to turn your failures into achievements and your sorrows into so goods. No room for excuses. Life is a gift and it offers a privilege, opportunity, responsibility to give something back by becoming more. We all here for some special reason. Stop being a prisoner of your past, become the architect of your future. You think you can do a thing or you think you can't do a thing, you're right. No matter what the situation, remind yourself I have a choice. All you can change is yourself, but sometimes that changes everything. The will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential, these are the keys which will unlock your door to personal excellence. If you are growing, we are always going to be out of our comfort zone. Take chances, make mistakes, that's how you grow. Pain nourishes our courage. You have to feel in order to practice being brave. I am the greatest. I said that even before I knew I was. We are responsible for what we are and whatever we wish ourselves to be. We have the power to make ourselves. The difference between stumbling blocks and stepping stones is how you use them. If someone tells you you can't, they really mean I can't. There is little difference in people, but that little difference makes a big difference. The little difference is attitude, the big difference is whether it's positive or negative. Whether you want to do it now. There are only so many tomorrows. When I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad. That's my religion. The difference in winning and losing is most often not quitting. You are never too old to set another goal or dream a new dream. All things are difficult before they are easy. Success is falling 9 times and getting up 10. Happiness, like unhappiness, is a proactive choice. Be soft. Do not let the world make you hard. Do not let pain makes you hate. Do not let the bitterness steal your sweetness. Take pride that even though the rest of the world is disagree, you still believe it to be beautiful place. You must make a decision that you are going to move on it. It won't happen automatically. You'll have to rise up and say, I don't care how hard this is. I don't care how disappointed I am. I'm not going to let this get the best of me. I'm going on with my life. The next time you feel slightly uncomfortable with the pressure in your life, remember, no pressure, no diamonds. Pressure is a part of success. When the world pushes you onto your knees, you are in the perfect position to pray. If you can change your mind, you can change your life. When we are no longer able to change the situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Happiness often sneaks in through a door you didn't know you left open. The best way to gain the self-confidence is to do what you're afraid to do. Codependent recovery, I exclaimed, how much I do for you. I thought if I proved how deep my love was, he would finally quit treating me bad, abusing me of cheating, making sarcastic and demeaning comments, and self-sabotaging the relationship. This action was attached to my self-employed responsibility of making him happy. I did this because I thought that he would leave me scary thoughts. Then I decided that would hurt less than remaining the insanity. It wasn't until I laughed and felt the hurt and cried but lived that I realized I could no more than survive, thrive. I quit trying to fix him by changing my actions. I let go. I saw his behavior as sickness, not vindicative and malicious, which made the heartache less and transformed the pain from thoughts of not being worthy of his affection, his love, or to accepting he wasn't happy inside, whether I was there or not. When I can get to this realization, sometimes only brief moments, I forgive him and myself. I can finally give myself this much needed introspection and meditation on a daily basis. I'm seeing the patterns of mindness where they are present and recognizing how deep this disease is. When I recognize the behavior stepping from codependency, I work towards a healthy behavior. Like doing things for myself instead of imploring others. I don't like to give power over myself to others and hearing of losing people, placed and things can and does influence my behavior if I let it. I exclaimed, look how much I do for you, and I thought I proved how deep my love was when you finally quit treating me bad. Wow. The minute you begin reviewing old programs and other self-teaching, deep ingrained imprints, your attitude will change and you will become more free, powerful, and happy. You will begin to enjoy life more fully and feel much better, way better as a person. In fact, your life will become easier and more joyful. You'll feel relief and freedom and more powerful at the same time. Maintain your sense of humor at all costs. Judgment will always keep you stuck. From my new book coming soon, The Practical Guide to Figuring Yourself Out, how to go from stuck to star of your life. Maintain your sense of humor at all costs. Wow. Some will take the opportunity, and that has nothing to do with you. Asked for accurate awareness. It might be that you are the best project you have ever taken on. You have no competition, only you can be you. Remember, if you can put one finger out, you have three pointing back. You always have enough space. Sometimes we get cluttered it up with too much junk. What would happen if it came out of hiding? Blocks are for stumbling on, building on, not getting in your way. The illusion of control limits your experience Stop thinking for a moment and experience. Take a step, move moments, build momentum. An empowered person asks for what they want, choices, not in the past or the future, but it is the present. You have to know and accept where you are before you get where you want to go. Who hasn't hurt you? Who are you waiting for to hear you before you move forward in your life? The practical guide to figure out yourself out, how to go from start to start. If you really want to grow, become comfortable with feeling uncomfortable, wanting and needing to be right is a survival issue for some people and keeps them stuck. Are you one of those people? Anytime you have any kind of problem, your subconscious mind believes you need the problem for some kind of survival. What you put into your subconscious mind comes out in your thoughts and emotions you can't think of feeling. As soon as you do it because of a thought, drop all of your judgments, opinions, beliefs, expectations, and rules, and life a breeze. Life is painful and messed up. It gets complicated in the worst of times, and sometimes you have no idea where you go and what to do. Lots of time people just let themselves get lost, drop into the wide open, huge abyss. But that's why we have to keep trying. We have to push through all that hurts us, work past all of our memories that are haunting us. Sometimes the things that hurt us are the things that make us strongest. A life without experience, in my opinion, is no life at all, and that's why I tell everyone that. Even when it hurts, never stop yourself from living. I think you travel to search and you come back home to find yourself there. You said you knew the perfect place to run to, a place that was empty of people and buildings and far, far away, place covered with in blood, red earth, and sleeping life, a place longing to come alive. It's a place for disappearing. You said a place for getting lost and for getting found. I'll take you there. You had said, and I could say that I agree. If you want to find the trail, if you want to find yourself, you must explore your dreams alone. You must grow at a slow pace in a dark cocoon of loneliness so you can fly like a wind, like wings. When you awaken, you have got to find yourself first, everything else follows. When you're unhappy, you get to pay a lot of attention to yourself and you get to take yourself so very seriously. You're truly happy people, which is to say, you're people who truly like themselves. They don't think about themselves very much. You're unhappy persons who sense it when you try to cheer him it because that means that he has to stop dwell on himself and start paying attention to the universe. And happiness is the ultimate form of self-indulgence. You learn as you get older that rules are made to be broken, but old enough. Be bold enough to live life on your terms and never ever apologize for it. Go against the grain, refuse to conform, take the road less travel instead of well-beaten path. Laugh in the face of adversity and leap before you learn. Dance as though everybody is watching and march to the beat of your drummer and stubbornly refuse to fit in. Don't worry about finding your soulmate, find yourself. No, a true seeker, one who truly wished to find, but does not draw crime, but the man who has found his sword. Such a man could approve of every of crime, each and every one, every bad, every goal, nothing that separates him any longer from all these thousands of others who lived in the eternal, who breathed the divine. It's not true that everyone is special. It is true that everyone was once special and still possesses the ability to recover it. Whatever it takes to find the real you, don't be daunted if the rest of the world looks on in shock. One of the best times for figuring out who you are and what you really want out of your life right after a breakup. You can't run away from yourself so often and so much just because the broken pieces of the cut feed you deeply if you stay around for too long. But then what if someone were to get along to pick up those pieces for you? Then you wouldn't have to run away from yourself anymore. You could stop running. If someone sees you as something worth staying with, maybe you will stay with yourself too. If you learn to really sit loneliness and embrace it for the gift that it is, the opportunity to get to know you, to learn from how strong you really are, to depend on no one but you for your happiness. You realize that a little loneliness goes a long way in creating a richer, deeper, and more vibrant, colorful you. Sometimes when you lose the way you find yourself, find out what makes you laugh and do more of it, figure out what makes you cry and do less of it. There's something really cool about knowing what that your destiny is so big that you're not meant to share it with anyone, at least not yet. A girl who truly knows herself is a girl that everybody wants to know. Loneliness is designed to help you discover who you are and to stop looking outside yourself for your worth. Find yourself first, like yourself first, love yourself first, and friendship and love will naturally find you. People who fit don't seek, and seekers are those who don't fit. In the midst of our struggle to find out who we are, there are infinite possibilities for beauty and hope and wonder and love. I never wanted to find my birth patterns. If one set of patterns felt like a misfortune, two sets would be self destructive. I had no idea that you would like your parents or that they could love you enough to let you be yourself. That is really scary and running naked inside yourself, revealing the real you. Finding her meant that I would move forward unabashedly without fear or rejection, without the endless need for acceptance from my husband or from anyone else. My birth was decided by me now. I'm so determined to keep me where you are with me because of the past 4 years have gone nothing but and for wanting you. And he grabbed my chin and forced me my gaze up. I came back for you, I did. I was in a bad place walking into that club, but when I saw you, the drunk Drusilla dancing on top of the bar, I can't put into words what holding you this morning did to me. A slow easy smile grew up on his lip, though I'm sure you know exactly what it is. What is it to me? Looking in the mirror, staring back at me isn't so much a face as the expression of that command. It is the key to life is figuring yourself out finally. Family must be the lock. If you want to find money, focus on people. If you want to lose people, focus on money. And some steps need to be taken alone. It is the only way to really figure out where you need to go and who you need to be. Wow. Alone but not lonely. Alone is being single, finding yourself, independence, loving yourself, positive thinking, self love, self worth, single life, single woman, valuing yourself. I just want to be someone to mean something to anyone. You know who you are, you just have to believe it. While you'll feel compelled to charge forward, is often the gentle step that will reveal to you where you and what you truly see. Somehow we'll find it the balance between whom we wish to be and whom we need to be. But for now, we simply have to be satisfied with who we are. If you're not cast into the abyss, you would never dropped reach as far as you could reach to grasp for anything that you could possibly touch, anything that you could possibly feel brushing against your fingertips. Funny how in the darkness we come to find the things that we never saw before in the light departed. It's like someone needed to turn the lights on to make us find all the things that we never looked for when the lights were on. And in that blackness that we wake up to the true light. My friend, curse not the darkness, it has given you many things. There are essentially two questions in life: spiritual question, material question. The spiritual question is who am I? Material question, what am I to do with my life? One place to the other. Think about it this way. While being married is but becoming a wife you're meant to be, being single allows you to focus on becoming a woman you were born to be. Finding yourself in one's path is like waking up in a foggy day. Be patient and presently the fog will clear, and then watch as always been there can be seen. The path is already there to follow. Happily single is holding out for the best and letting go of the rest. That's saying I will and I can to yourself before you can say I do to someone else. You know how creative people are. We have to try everything until we find our niche. We find ourselves only by looking at what we are not. Everything is music to be born musician for the born musician. So they gave me love in form of voice and tiny little voice programming, my emotions teaching me how to feel, to act correct and talk correct, answer without knowing the question, because that, my dear, is how we get loved. That, dear youth, is how you'll be loved. I try to medicate my own fucked up little mind with chemicals and adrenaline testing sweeter than night. shaking louder every time, sitting wide awake in bed until the world disappears, writing poetry to concentrate on something very real while waiting for the love to arrive. It has been looking for it night after night, waiting practically for it to show up. Maybe tomorrow is better. Between the state awake and alive, asleep, alive or not so alive, sober or not so sober, I lost track of the difference somewhere in between. You can't label yourself with words. It is what you do every day that defines you. The land of possibilities is a better place to make your home than the realm of expectation will ever be. Sooner or later, our souls find their center of gravity in the hot, salt-tasting kiss, and the trembling touch. Trembling is a good sign. It means you're open to the world. You know you're coming. This town of churches and dreams, this town I thought I would lose myself in, with its backward ways and winding roads leading to nowhere, but I found myself instead. Magic is in the backyard. My parents said, "You're no good, Elijah." I exhaled and killed the cigarette in the grass. Laughing, Ellie's eyes went to the lips and his hands touched his bare metal. Really, and what do you say? He had brought his lips so close to mine that it became hard to think about. The next verse when I wanted to do was crush my mouth to his. I wanted to completely consume me. "I think you are broken," I finally got out and asked a bro. "But I think I'm broken too. I just don't know it yet." You don't reach serenity by plotting a course for it. You have to sit out in good faith for elsewhere and lose your bearings serendipitously. The last voyage of somebody, the sailor. You have so many different personas. The one I meet in Dublin, the one who speaks on the phone. There are a few other borners, the one who drives in the morning, the one who performs in the crowds, front of crowds, the one who addresses you as congressman, and of course, the one who sits on the board of the elevation partners. Of course, the same person judges all those different roles. All art is an attempt to identify yourself, to try out many different characters on the way to finding the one that most fits you and therefore is you. I mean, all children do. I'm adolescents, you seem to them trying out different sides of the personality, so I'm exploring and trying to find out what I'm capable of. Hell, at no fury or contempt for as a narcissist you dare to disagree with. Tell they are wrong or embrace them. Characteristic traits of such narcissists include control freaks, irritability, short fuses, low frustration tolerance, argumentative, need to have the last word, unable to lose, won't take no for an answer, quick to anger if you don't accommodate them, quick to being aggressively defensive, you call them on any deficiency, fault, or responsibility. Can't demonstrate remorse. Can't apologize, or if do, can't do it sincerely. Rarely say thank you or congratulations. Don't feel or demonstrate remorse. Feel entitled to enthusiastic and appreciative approval, adoration, agreement, and obedience. Gloat in victory. Sullen in defeat, quick to rage if you humiliate them. What is connection between narcissist and rage? There is a saying that when you are a hammer, the world looks like a nail. When you are a narcissist, the world looks like it should approve, adore, agree, and obey you. Anything less than that feels as an assault, and because of that, narcissist feels justified raging back at it. What is at the core of the narcissist is not what's often referred to as low self-esteem. I don't think that is the accurate word. Sometimes other people around them say to themselves to mollify their own rage as the narcissist. Oh, they only act that way because they lack self-esteem. What is really at the core of the narcissist is an instability in their ability to feel or sustain feeling bigger, larger, smart, and more successful than anyone else that need to feel stable. And just the Hamlet mother said, the lady doth protest too much. The narcissist doth brag, scorn, and talk down, primp, and belittle too much in order to continually prove to the world and themselves that they are larger than life. This is not to increase their self-esteem as much as to continually spackle the holes in the coat that will lead to a feeling of instability, and that, if not spackled, it will lead to bitterness followed by fragmentation. Narcissist rage occurs when they occur when that core instability is threatened, and furthermore threatened to destabilize them even further. Not unlike a wounded animal being most vicious because the they think the next one would kill them. Narcissist rage occurs when narcissists believe that the next insult is all to their grandiose best stability would shatter them. Their sense the reason narcissists are so self-centered is in the grandiosity-based center needs to be constantly reinforced to remain stable. What to do when a narcissist rages at you? Don't let them cross over the line to physical violence, but if it looks like they will follow you to keep verbally assaulting you and then maybe escalate, just listen to them until they sputter out. Don't try to engage them verbally after they calm down, or better the next day say to them, I didn't want to say this when you were yelling at me, being sullen at me. But going forward, the next time you get so angry at me and verbally yell at me, speak contemptuously or act sullen, I will say once, please speak to me or act in a respectful manner. And if that doesn't stop you, I will walk away and go to some other part of the house, office, or company. Following that conversation, it happens again, I will simply walk away saying, I have other things to do and this is not the ultimatum, but just a head up to of what I will do if those exchanges happen again. Please modify as you see fit to sound more like your words, and I hope you get the idea. One of the takeaways from it, this is that words sometimes respond to words, but actions, which narcissist rage is, respond to actions in the form of consequences, challenges to make your action response that just right and not to overkill, which you will have to take back, or underkill, which will only allow you to keep raging at you. The more important takeaway is to weigh what such people bring to your life. If what they take from it and inflict to you is much more, get out. Regarding Steve Jobs and why he seemed to have gotten away with being such a ragoholic, is that his perfection about products was more about this is great, see for yourself, versus I'm great. And with regard to Apple Productions' ability to delight, seeing has been believing. With regard to Greenwich and Orly, neither of them have a tangible project. They have an intangible and highly reactive point of view. That's where nothing to see to believe. There are the less rageful narcissists who, rather than raging, will act out in usually devious ways to get what they feel are entitled when denied. It is that real life how to deal with narcissist rage. The narcissists believe that by being perfect, they will receive the admiration, love, respect, attention they crave. Being perceived as not perfect can result in feelings of shame, anxiety, guilt, and anger. If a narcissist's self-esteem is threatened and wounded, they may react with anything from mild irritation to serious outbursts or even violence. Destroying the perceived threat restores their sense of safety and power and gives them total control over their environment. The rage is not about you, it is about the narcissist. Respond to narcissist rage with your mind, not with emotion. Do not rage back. Do not try to use logic or reason to calm the narcissist. As this way prolong the confrontation, there is no room for your opinion or viewpoint. This is not personal, it is about the narcissist. Establish your boundaries, keep calm, and as soon as you are able to remove yourself from the explosive situation, do not believe that anything you say or don't say, do or don't do will change the person or the situation. Accept that the narcissist will not display their behavior in public. You in public, they are perfect, charismatic, fun, outgoing, laid back. It is only in private that they release their rage. Expect that unless the rage is personally witnessed, no one will understand how life is for you. Narcissists practice projection. When they accuse you of being selfish, inconsiderate, envious, dishonest, arrogant, and what they are projecting is inadequacies that they feel about them. So the projection is not about you, it's about the narcissist. Narcissists may claim to have said something that they did not actually say, blaming you for not listening. Alternatively, they do say something but claim to have not. Narcissists can contradict themselves in the same breadth. What is it? Narcissist or narcissist personality disorder is a diagnosis given the individual under the classification of personality disorder. Narcissists are extremely selfish and self-centered people who are capable only of thinking about their own issues regarding power, prestige, and personal adequacy. They have little to no empathy, cannot understand the problems of the people around them, and are not aware of other people's feelings. Although they act superior and confident, this actually hides the fact that they have very fragile egos. The scientists disrespect all challenge can quickly lead to the development of furious rage in them. Narcissistic rage is a term coined by Hines, the analysis of the self, which is published. It occurs when the narcissist perceives he's being personally attacked by someone else. Grandiose self-worth, vanity, and entitlement are basic characteristics of this disorder. When these are challenged, it often leads to narcissistic rage. Narcissistic rage is a reaction to narcissistic injury. A perceived trait to their self-worth or self-esteem. Their rage can be of two types, explosive and passive aggressive. Explosive rage are just as they sound, explosive, volatile outbursts, while may be verbal, physical, or both. Passive aggressive rages are exhibited as withdrawal into subtlety, silent treatment as a means to punish the offender. Do not confuse anger with a narcissistic rage. Anger is a natural reaction when exposed to provocation. Anger occurs when a rational cause anticipates when one is able to express the fuming rage of the narcissist feels. It's different from the anger that people usually feel. It is either irrational or severely blown out of the proportion from an insignificant remark or action. Narcissistic need constant admiration, attention, and compliments. They live with the illusion that they are perfectionists and that people revere them. They make them dependent on the other people to keep their self-esteem high. Therefore, any challenge, mildly negative remark or disagreement from another person is considered criticism. Criticism, rejection, and even mockery. They take this personally as an assault or betrayal and lash out at the person who provoked them. Narcissist rage often result in physical or emotional abuse. Causes challenge to their confidence. People with narcissism often place unrealistic demand on their partner or children. The demand are frequently challenged by the person in the relationship and challenge the narcissist brittle ego are unable to accept the idea that they were wrong or seen as imperfect. They turn this into personal attack and respond with rage toward the person to regain their sense of superiority. Injury to self-esteem. When a narcissist's shortcomings are pointed out by someone, they feel an overwhelming sense of shame. The narcissist, the lashes are not toward the person who pointed out the shortcomings. The rage is executed to seek revenge upon the accuser. The need for revenge results in explosive rage and does not die down until the narcissist feels the person was dealt appropriate punishment. False sense of self. Narcissism is a false sense of self. Underlying this false sense of self, a feeling that is not lovable for who he is and what he offers in relationship. When a lover or a partner begins to feel doubts about the narcissist, that is when the narcissist rage surfaces. Types: explosive narcissist individual have avoidant outbursts which can be both verbal and physical in nature. Passive aggressive, the other way of expressing rage is passive aggressive behavior, where the narcissist do not harm the victim physically or mentally but punish him passively, sulking, silent treatment, pretending they are invisible. 7 stages of anger. Anger is a primitive, immature child expression of thought, it needs, and invalidation. For most people, anger goes through several levels of emotion, each level requiring a certain level of self-control. According to psychiatrist Adam Badner, anger is straight feeling angry subconsciously but not demonstrating it. Anxiety, anger is shown through subtle clues. Agitation, displeasure is shown without blame. Irritation, a little more displeasure to elicit the response. Frustration, anger with a scowl or harsh words. Anger with loudness of speech and expression, rage, losing temper, and getting into a rage aggression. It appears that narcissists do not go through the 7 stages like other people do. The smallest infraction will send them right to the level 7. What is that? This rage seems to be caused by any threat to their ego, and the ensuing rage act to erase that threat and maintain their self-image and feeling of superiority. The narcissist rage is a perfectly appropriate response when they experience any threat to their view of self. After being the victim of the narcissist rage, you will probably find yourself going over and over to the events that happen in order to try to pin down what caused the outburst. You probably just don't get it. However, if you choose to stay in a relationship with a narcissist for your safety, you need to fully understand that what triggers this behavior and why it happens. That way, you may be able to avoid the triggering the narcissist rage and create a safer environment for yourself. Remember too that you are not responsible for these rages. What you are witnessing is narcissist reaction to feelings of shame. Narcissist perfect wedding, disastrous marriages. Everything about a narcissist's image for him or her image is reality, a reality based on the grandiose illusions or visions of perfection. Observing the wedding plan and how they are impeccably created and executed can tell the tale of two fallen. It is understandable that couples want their wedding day to be very special and memorable. Here I am talking over the top perfectionism. Nothing is more important than the actual event where the narcissist plays the starring role, is standing at the center of the universe, emperor of his throne. After the soft focus, glow of the honeymoon, the gorgeous mask of the narcissist groom and bride slip, and we begin feel and see who this person we married truly is. There are pricks of criticism which become more frequent and wanting the other spouse whips them off thinking, oh, he's just having a tough time day. No point in making a case of this or that. I'm overreacting to him or her because I know how sensitive I am. He has told me so many times he is making a big adjustment to being married with a couple now. Give me him a break. These thoughts run through the head of the non-narcissist spouse, always making excuses for the narcissist spouse even when he is vituperating comments are cheering you apart day after day. Next, though always sharp fangs. Up here when the narcissists go with full-throated screaming fits that last long enough to cause your nervous system to go into the fight or flight mode. Your adrenaline is pumping so fast you are shivering, have a thundering headache, rolling intestines, feeling to do of doom. Eventually, the non-narcissist spouse is worn down, beaten up, emotionally exhausted, spent and constantly on edge. The narcissist trick and abuses become more frequent. The lies overflow and cannot be counted. The betrayal are ongoing. His hatred of you has congealed. His pathological projection are legion. Each attack has your name on. Finally, you're fed up. You do the research and go to therapy, check your intuitions. Then you have been pounding at you for months and years. And yes, you are married to a narcissist personality, a person without empathy, emotional intimacy, truth conscious, centennial of compassion for another human being. You make your move to savor the relationship from this highly pathological individual. You will rescue yourself from the disaster of marriage. As you make the effort and do the hard work, the original self in you is celebrating freedom, rage, or relentless, the narcissist's constant companions. A narcissist is always boiling with rage at some level. On incident real or invented takes them over the top of the malevolent projections begin. They are directed mainly at his spouses and children. These unconscious projections cause their recipients great emotional pain. Volley after volley comes out of your mouth. They are unstoppable, fulminating in one of the narcissist's frequent activities. Being the child of a narcissist unsettles every nerve in your body. You are living in a war zone, bombardment of post-traumatic rage are coming on you, living under these circumstances as a small child is bewildered and traumatizing. If there is another parent you can shield you from these torrents of rage, that is very fortunate. Many children are able to go to the other parent for comfort. However, the other parent is terrified of the narcissist when the child has to find ways to deal with the onslaught. Some numb themselves emotionally and learn to face themselves and feel nothing. Others hide and make themselves invisible. Along with the chronic rage is the narcissist's restlessness. The mind of these individuals are never still. They jump